Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle Barra. I've been a personal stylist for 25 years. I now help people like you build capsule wardrobes that mix and match easily. So today I wanted to talk to the petite ladies and the petite plus size ladies. Now, so many of you have been telling me in the comments that you struggle with clothes, and so in this video I've got lots of tips to help you dress your best. So before I go on, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who is liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting. Please keep that coming. It really helps me build more content for you. And one thing I've got to say before I go on is there is a small and furry person who has just entered the room, and he may well get in the way. I will just grab him. This is Sir Ronald Weasley, and he's quite naughty. Now, there are lots of challenges that you can face if you're a petite woman. I'm under 5'4" myself, so I'm considered petite myself. Although I've not always felt that way. Sometimes I can go into stores and the trousers or pants are particularly long, or skirts or dresses are cut kind of to the wrong length. But apart from that, I've always kind of found it okay. But that said, I know a lot of people struggle. So today I want to talk to you about some tips about how you can use colour, patterns, styles, cuts to enhance your best features and to create a wardrobe that works best for ladies who are petite and plus size as well. So let's get started. Now, the first thing that I would suggest is what you don't want to do is add overwhelm. So anything that's too fussy or flouncy. So really big bows, big frills, big collars, all those kind of things you probably want to avoid, and you probably want to kind of reduce the size. So, you know, recently there was a big trend where dresses and tops had these huge collars on. They can look quite overwhelming if you are petite. So I suggest kind of avoiding things like that. Anything with too much detailing. Now, this next tip applies to petite ladies and those that are petite and plus size. So what I want you to do, or what I want you to consider doing, is to wear one block colour. Now, what I mean by that is it doesn't matter so much if there's slightly different colours or they're kind of a similar shade. So maybe like navy blue and black, for example. I know that's controversial for some people, but I still think it looks great. So in other words, all dark colours. But what I would do is go towards the darker end, definitely. But what you don't want to do is have one light colour here to here and then a darker colour on the bottom. If possible, with a dress, have one block colour that comes down to kind of just around the knee area, so that the eye draws straight down the body. Because what you'll do if you have like separate block colours, like white here and black at the bottom, for example, is you're cutting your body in half, and that kind of makes you look even shorter. So what we're trying to do is draw the eye down the body. So the best way to do that is to wear one darkish black colour which skims the body, not overwhelming it with too much fabric, not really skin tight. You can kind of go skin tight if you're going for something that's going sort of full length and you've got the figure and you're happy to do that. But ideally, something that sort of skims the body in one block colour would work best. Now, patterns. Now, I get asked quite a lot about patterns, and people say to me, can I wear patterns? Can't I wear patterns? And my answer is I think anybody can wear patterns. Like I said, I am 5'3½" and I've got stripes on today, but I do wear patterns. If you watch my videos, you'll see that I frequently wear patterns. But what I will say is if you are wearing something head to toe, i.e. a dress or a jumpsuit or maybe a full length coat or something like that, then I would definitely go for patterns that are kind of small to medium in size. So in other words, not big, massive, splashed sort of patterns. You know, think those kind of 1960s, 1970s really big patterns probably aren't the best kind of option for you. I would choose something that's small to medium sized, because otherwise, again, a little bit like the bows and a little bit like the huge collars and the frills, etc., it kind of can look quite overwhelming on you. So you can absolutely wear patterns. I don't believe in reducing or stopping patterns at a certain age either. I think that's all rubbish. And by the way, with any of these tips, if it's something you like, you should still go for it. I'm just using this as my experience and kind of what I know kind of works, but obviously the most important thing is that you feel good. So just take from this the bits that you actually enjoy yourself. And this next one applies to petite women, but it also applies to petite plus size women particularly, and that is tiered dresses or tiered tops. Now, I've mentioned these before. I'm talking about the ones that maybe start here and then they flare out and they flare out and they flare out, and you end up looking a bit like a triangle doll like this. So if, as I'm holding my arms out, somebody mentioned actually me using my arms in another video, but if as I'm holding my arms out here now, you can imagine a dress coming from underneath my armpits and going out at this kind of angle. What does it do? Think about it, what does it do? It draws the eye like that. So if you are petite and you're plus size, it's just making you look wider. If you're just petite, it is making you look wider. So again, what we want to do is we want to have straight cut garments rather than these tier dresses. Now, if you're somebody who does like things that are a little bit looser and you don't want something so structured, that's absolutely fine. Again, what I suggest you do in that instance is go for maybe a tea dress style or a shirt dress style that ties in at the waist, or something that at least comes in under the bust and then gently flares out from there. It can flare out in a gentle A-line. So by a gentle A-line, I mean something that just sort of skims the body like that rather than coming out at a real angle. So yeah, avoid those tier dresses and avoid the tier tops as well, because they can do exactly the same thing. And one of the biggest things that I see, the biggest mistakes I see people make particularly, is they'll wear really baggy tops. Like a lot of women put on weight after having children around the tummy and then also around menopause. Okay, I hear this time and time and time again. So if you are petite, the last thing you want to do is add to that. So if you've got one of those tier dresses or tops that flares out, again, it comes out in like a triangle from here, and it draws the eye in that triangle to here. Now, if you've then got skinny jeans, or you've got even straight jeans, but particularly skinny jeans or leggings on underneath, guess what that does? It emphasises making you look bigger at the top and skinnier and smaller at the bottom. So to use balance, if you want to have something that does skim your tummy, absolutely go for it. I think that's a great idea, but at least have it coming underneath the bust if possible, and then gently skimming out. Don't have it go any lower than your top hip as well, because again, that makes you look wider, and go for a straight or a wide leg to create that balance as well. And preferably, like I mentioned earlier, try and go for sort of like a similar tone right the way through the body, preferably sort of darker. So, you know, if it's navy blue all the way down or black all the way down, maybe you could wear a navy blue top and dark indigo jeans, something like that. But try not to have a lot of contrast in the colours that you wear from top to bottom, because that kind of cuts your body in half and makes you look shorter. Now, next up, I've kind of mentioned this already, so one colour. Now, I know that's a bit boring, but the way you can get around this is you could wear one colour all the way down, so it's a top and maybe a pair of trousers that match, or a jacket like a suit, or maybe it's a dress, or maybe it's a jumpsuit, whatever it is. But this works, again, like I say, for petite and petite plus size. But what I would suggest you do is wear one colour all the way down and have it kind of just skin the body, because again, what that does is it doesn't cut it at any point. You know, there's no kind of cut-off point. So it's just people are looking at you straight the way down, and that's what you want to create length. Now, another thing that you can do is, particularly if you're wearing sort of wide-ish leg or trousers or pants, is wear a pair of heels underneath, but definitely take them to the tailors, have the trousers cut to the right length so that they just hit your heels, so you get that height as well. That's another really good tip. Now, what I will say is, if you're looking at this and you're going, oh, I don't want to wear all black, or I don't want to wear all navy, that's boring. Absolutely fine. So maybe go for a kind of cropped-ish beaded or patterned jacket, maybe an interesting piece of material. Why would you have an interesting piece of material stuck to you? Sorry. Jewellery. Don't know, material, jewellery, not really the same thing, but anyway, interesting piece of jewellery, or match your accessories through. So maybe you've got a bright red pair of shoes, or you've got a bright bag, or you've got an interesting hat. Actually, hats are quite good, particularly if they're like trilbies or something, because again, they add height. So, you know, you can always add a little bit of detailing, but if you do have a jacket that has lots of patterns or fancy something on it, or a cardigan or something like that, then wear it open so that you can still see your eye drawing right way down your body in that one block colour. So if you're wearing, say, straight or wide leg pants with a black top, and maybe the pants are black as well, and then you've got an interesting jacket, that way you're kind of creating the eye going straight away down. That works so much better. Now, if you're petite plus size, and this kind of applies to petites as well, but particularly petite plus size, what you don't want to do is have excess floaty fabric. Now, unfortunately, I see this time and time again, and a lot of you have told me as well, that you get really frustrated with the clothes that are available for petite plus size women, because a lot of them are these excess amounts of fabric, and the problem is with that is it just adds excess. Now, there's no reason why you can't have something that is a little bit floaty, but I would have it in areas that doesn't matter. So maybe, you know, it comes from the sleeve and it flares out, something like that, that's nice and kind of floaty. Or maybe it's got some detailing on the back. But what you don't want to do is add excess floaty material that then kind of floats about and makes you look even bigger than what you are, and that is in tops and in dresses. So definitely try and avoid the more floaty bits and pieces, unless it's like in areas that you're quite comfortable with. Now, this one applies to all petites, whether you're straight petite or slim petite or plus size petite, and that is horizontal stripes, weaves or patterns. Now, it's okay if that weave or that pattern goes diagonally across the body, because guess what that does? You know, you're probably learning something now. It draws the eye across the body. But if it's going like this, then it's cutting the body in half. Again, if it's straight up and down, then that's fine. So vertical stripes are absolutely fine. But horizontal stripes, patterns, cuts. So, you know, sometimes you can get knitwear, which has got a bit of a weave, which kind of goes right across the body. Or you can get some sort of patterns of weaves, like maybe like a woven wool material that's got like a pattern that goes across it. So avoid anything like that, because it will cut your body up again, and it kind of again draws the eye like that. And what we want to do is we want to draw the eye straight up and down. So avoid horizontal patterns, weaves and stripes. And can you hear Sir Ronald Weasley? He's gone quiet now. He will do this. He does this every time I try and make a video. He has to be very gobby, so he might come back in again in a minute. Yeah. Next up, petites. Again, this one applies to all petites, and that is excess oversized baggy clothing. Now, this one should be obvious. Okay, if you are petite, let's say whether you're petite plus size or whether you're petite regular size, if you're adding bulky clothing, you're adding width, right? So it's pretty obvious that that is going to make you go this way. So instead of going for this oversized, which I'm so glad to see is disappearing, if I'm quite honest, go for more tailored. You know, again, skims the body straight up and down, not too much fuss, not too much bulk, but avoid the oversize, because particularly if you are petite plus size, it is going to make you just look wider. The worst thing you could probably wear if you are petite plus size is like a cream, really baggy, oversized sort of tracksuit with a big baggy hoodie or something like that, because it just makes you look like this. So avoid that as much as possible. Try sort of tailored or those kind of garments with less fuss that just sort of skim the body. Next up is similar to the tiered dresses, because it's all about the shape, and that is A-line dresses. So anything that kind of comes from here, particularly from here, and goes straight out in a triangle, ding dong, you know, like a bell, avoid it. Don't go anywhere near it. You know, think those 1960s sort of wide sort of shift sort of dresses. they don't work, and they work on very, very few people, and particularly if you're petite, it's not a great idea. So go for the more classic style shift dress, go for tea dresses, like I said earlier. Shirt dresses that have got a belt work really well as well, but try and get bits and pieces that either have a collar like this where you can have a couple of buttons undone and you can kind of create a V, because that V again draws the eye down the body, or have V-neck dresses. Anything like that works really well. Now, if you are somebody, I know some of you have said to me as well that you don't like to show too much skin off here, or that you don't like to show too much cleavage off, so V-necks you feel a little bit uncomfortable with, what I suggest you do on that instance is buy a vest or a camisole underneath that's kind of a lighter colour that sort of almost blends in with your skin. If you're dark skinned, then go for like a darker colour, but a vest that kind of almost sits at the background, so whatever colour you've got on top, it kind of sits back, and then that way you've still got that V on the outside with kind of a wrap dress as well, works really well. The V on the outside with a V or open neck shirt or your wrap dress, but you've got that little bit of security underneath. And last but not least, basically we just want to avoid the fuss. So there's no reason why you can't have fun with your clothes like everybody else, but the more fuss and the more flouncy and the more kind of additional bits and pieces you've got, the more complicated it's going to look. So it's much better to keep it much more simple and maybe just use your accessories for something that's a little bit more exciting. So I hope you found this helpful today. Let me know in the comments what you struggle with most. I know a few of you, just before I go on actually, have said to me about boots. Can I wear over the knee boots? Can I wear knee high boots? Yes, absolutely. I think with knee high boots and with over knee boots, it's all about whether you wear them completely under a garment or whether you wear them so there's distance separating between where the boot ends and where your skirt or trousers end, because the problem is with it is I don't think it works very well when the hem of the garment is kind of clashing with the top of the boot. So as long as you kind of avoid that, I don't see any reason why you can't wear over the knee boots. I do wear them. I tend to wear them so they're hidden completely under sort of tea dress shapes where that comes in here and then it kicks out, or I wear them over the top of leggings essentially. So that's how it works for me, and I tend to, and the way I do that as well, just one quick tip with over knee boots if you do decide to go for something like that, is I tend to wear them in the same colour. So I've got black over knee boots and I tend to wear black leggings with them, because again it draws the eye straight down without cutting my legs in half, so I think that works quite well. So I hope you found that helpful. Let me know in the comments what you struggle with most as a petite woman, and if you've got any suggestions for everybody else, please comment on other people's comments. Let's support each other, and like I've said before, if you see someone today and you love what they're wearing, tell them. I want that to be a real thing here. So yeah, download my capsule wardrobe guide and you can use that when you're building up your capsule wardrobe, and I'll see you next time. Take care, have a wonderful week, bye.